How can you talk creatively for hours? How can you create so much content? First of all, you need a base of knowledge. You need to put in your brain loads of books, loads of podcasts. You got to watch a lot of content, but you will also have to filter. And the way you learn, you just subtract the difference from what you know and what you look at. And that's your knowledge. That's what you get from the video. You just look at what you do differently or what you're not doing and what the video is doing. You just take the delta out. And so you aim to grow the base of knowledge in your brain. But this requires understanding. It's not just memorizing for surface level understanding. It's actually deep intrinsical understanding, comprehension of the information you're studying or the information you look at. This can be done most efficiently if you're present in the moment when you listen to the information, but it can also be downloaded in your subconscious mind while you play games or you do something else like football at the gym. When you listen to audiobooks, it can be downloaded in your subconscious, I'm saying. And the subconscious later on can take that as a reference and help you create proper content or freestyle with those ideas and link those ideas. And later, you might not know consciously what the information was about because you've been doing something else, but the information stays in your subconscious. So please listen to loads of audiobooks, loads of tracks, loads of podcasts or something that's of your interest. And that will make you an unconscious competent. You will put in your brain lots of information that you will not know consciously, but subconsciously, you will make a reference to it. Trust me, it works. And I was saying, you need a body of knowledge. And the best way to do it is to listen to audiobooks or podcasts or something. Don't read physical books because that will take a lot of your time unless you have that time. But just passively while you do something with your hands, the information can be downloaded 2x speed in your brain, right? You listen twice as fast, even 3 times as fast, and still your subconscious mind can comprehend and understand and put the information to the right place and also to the right use. You need to understand though that the subconscious is a bit slow in understanding this information, but the information is there, it needs to find a use. And this is why it's important to be present, but it's optional because you can still make use of it later on after it settles down because you're going to compound information and you're going to be an unconscious competent because behind your conscious awareness and your cognitive process, the one you're using your prefrontal cortex or whatever that's called. So you're using this bit consciously, right, in everything you do. But you also have unconscious processes you're not aware of. You want to rely on those heavily. And just like your heart is beating on autopilot, just like you're breathing, your nails are growing in your hair as well. Same goes with learning. It's done unconsciously. So if you start listening to audiobooks and all kinds of information, it will be stored in your subconscious mind. But you also have to pair this with a proper state. That is a way of governing yourself, being more calmer, chiller when you talk to people and when you do all kinds of creative work. And if you pair those, the information will sit differently in your brain because it's like it's 90% is let's say 90% is unconscious and 10% is just your conscious awareness. But this 10% is basically it should act as the guardian of the 90% in your subconscious mind, but it doesn't because you're the result of your auto-suggestion, either good or bad. And considering you have goals, it shows you are not doing an efficient job at managing your conscious awareness, which is okay. We're still figuring out how to reach our goals the proper way with the conscious awareness, but it goes far deeper into this because we can make use of 90% to achieve our goals and everything we want. Back to the point, the conscious mind needs to be present when information is being downloaded in the brain, but I said it's optional. It's better if it is because you're only having the 10% that can structure and consciously make use of the information and see where the information is being helpful. Other than that, everything else is just data, just bits 0 and 1 in your subconscious mind. But it's so smart. Remember, you're dealing with the unconscious processes. You gotta rely on those. And the bandwidth is infinitely wider than the conscious mind, right? You got like 4 terabytes a second with the subconscious mind and 4 bytes a second with your conscious mind. That's how deep it goes. So you can rely on that to extend your knowledge and understand what you need to understand, what you want to be good at more. You want to create more art. You want to create better content. You want to express yourself better. You want to create better ideas. You also have to make use of the compound effect and so on. You got to compound knowledge and the way you apply that knowledge to serve you into coming up with more ideas and more subtle nuances to properly refine your body of work. And this is how you make use of your subconscious mind into helping you create better content and becoming a freestyle person. So you listen to the same content 2 times as fast or even faster than that. And it will come a time when your conscious mind will get used to the speed, because I'm telling you, if you start to do that now, it's gonna look so weird for your brain. If you speed up a video on YouTube, like even this one, even any other video, 2 times as fast, it's gonna be so weird. And you will see, you will want to increase the volume to understand the information. This is completely natural, and I suggest you do it at the beginning. After that, just leave the volume at a comfortable level and just go through with the information you need from the video or from the audiobook. And I highly suggest you go for the audiobooks, not the podcasts, not the YouTube videos, no anything else. And now step 2 in becoming a freestyle creative force is to constantly take action. If you want to develop good ideas, come up with good questions, study the work of other people to expose your brain to new information so you can know what to expect. That is the framework, which we're going to talk about in a bit. You need a framework. A follows B follows C. That is, this question will undoubtedly create some tension. That tension will seek some resolution. And this is how you get to be more creative. And this is what will enable you to be more freestyle. That is, creativity is improvisation. This is art, basically. What I'm doing here, what you're doing there, what everybody's doing on YouTube, what everybody's doing when they write a book or something. It's all freestyle, it's all creativity. But you need that framework. That is chapter 1, chapter 2, just like we do part 1, part 2, and so on, right? You need a structure, basically. That structure can go deeper into copywriting. That is, the structure of a video, of a VSL, of a newsletter or tweet has to respect certain standards to appeal to the reader or to the end consumer. But the general rule applies. If you want to be more creative, you will have to take action. That is, you will need to implement what you first learn at step number 1. That is the content and the book and all of that. You might not necessarily make use immediately of that information, but that information will be stored in your subconscious mind. All you have to do is to, let's say you're making content, you will have to keep making content for your brain to get used to come up with new ideas. Let's say if you're making music, you gotta keep making music and your brain will come up with new ideas, and it will help you come up with your best results ever. If you keep doing this, you're gonna get unconsciously better and better at it while you study tutorials, while you apply different techniques and all that. Same goes. So if you want a free flow, if you want to be a freestyle professional, you just gotta keep talking if that's your trade, keep writing if that's your trade, keep making music, keep making videos, keep working on projects, and that will improve you as a person undoubtedly. But you need to follow the step number 1, that is study other people's works. That's the shortcut. This is how you learn. This is how you develop yourself. You expose yourself to new paradigms and you will be drawn unmistakably to your own unicity, and you're gonna create from that. The moment you see what's possible, what other people can create, you see that you can come up with your own thing. And this is what your spirit wants to do. This is what your heart wants. This is what it wants you to do, to be more like you. Because if I give you tomorrow $1 million, you're gonna become more of you. This is what you're gonna do with the money. That's all. So everything you now do, small scale, when you have more life behind you, you're gonna do more of where you are now. But the basic principle applies. Take action, study other people's works, and keep putting content, keep making what you're making. If you make music videos, make music videos. And point number 3, because I'm freestyling all of this, is don't be afraid of making mistakes. Go with them. When you're making content, just like I'm freestyling off the top of my head, just like I have a general rough idea, and I know I can make mistakes, but my intention is so strong, and my intention is to drive a point home, and that makes it the whole video. And the way I succeed is I make it simple as possible for me to understand what I want to say, and then I put it with backed evidence or backed examples and all that. It all comes with time. All you have to do is just speak 2 minutes at a time, freestyle about the thing you like most, and you will see your brain will want to speak for 4 minutes, for 8 minutes, 16 minutes, and so on. Because you're naturally drawn to being creative, regardless of your trade, regardless of your skill, regardless of what you're building. You are an artist. You gotta develop these traits in you. And in doing this, you must not give a damn about your mistakes, mate. Art is mistakes. Perfection is born from mistakes. You can't get something perfect, especially in this universe, on this plane, unless you do some mistakes. Or you can't make an omelette if you don't break some eggs, as the saying goes. Same here. Same concept applies. Don't wait for the perfect moment, bro. You always wanted to start that YouTube channel. You always wanted to take that paid gig. Do you work for free? Start with your, just like I'm here, with bloody 18 subscribers, and I love you all. That's all I got. That's all I do. That's what you have to work with. Work with what you got, and don't be afraid of making mistakes. Perfection is born by making mistakes, mate. Because remember, not everything is for everyone. You gotta understand this. So looking at the same thing with different eyes, that is, a mistake can't be considered a mistake if it's not the right thing for someone. It can be just considered art for somebody else then. So why not take this viewpoint and develop yourself by starting raw, starting at the base, like recording with your phone, starting from there to express yourself. And this, of course, is not going to come overnight. You're going to make mistakes. So have mistakes in mind and expect them. They fine, but just go with it and never stop. That's your key and the whole difference in an amateur and a pro. In somebody who can freestyle for hours and create content and produce value because he's been prepared by listening and observing people. By the way, I should make a sub when he observe people more, should I say. So yeah, mistakes are good. Go for them in whatever you attempting to do. Because if you wait for the perfect moment, that's never gonna come. You gotta make it come. And you gotta live the day. Your time is running out. Fear not making mistakes. That's it. Now, how can you be a freestyle creative force? Point number 4, have a frame, a structure. And that structure at this point is worth mentioning that you will have to copy your favorite creators. In time, you will have to develop your own unique signature, but that's born from your own stories, from becoming more like yourself, from putting yourself out there. That's how you get to be authentic, which is what you want in the end, because you want to be nobody's copy, but your own individual. You gotta own yourself. And what's this frame about? This frame is about, let's say, if you're making music, there is the intro, there is the drop. If you're painting, there is the base layer, and you work in layers, right? With colors. You have the field, you lay the grass first, and then you build the trees after that. You work in layers. If you're a Photoshop artist or designer, you know how this goes. But the main important thing here to consider is that other people are putting their work out there. And 100% if you're a beginner in this, there is always somebody who's a few steps ahead of you. And you want to get inspiration from them. Not only inspiration, but advice. Try to get mentorship from them, but also dissect their works. Your best ideas will come when you dissect other people's work, because you will see firsthand how something is being done. And even if you're not able, let's see somebody's making a movie and you can't see the color grade or the tricks they use, you can give them a message, ask them for mentorship. If they're too big, then pick somebody else who's a few 100,000 subscribers lower than that guy, and you go from there. But there is always a way, especially with the internet. You just haven't opened, you haven't seen all the doors. There is loads of creators, loads of stuff, loads of unsaid stuff, loads of unseen stuff. So there is place for you as well, you know, place for me as well. Bloody hell, if you have something to say, just open the camera and say it. It will require courage, right? Because you want everything to be perfect. But again, coming back to the previous point, mistakes are good. Aim for them, expect them, and you will improve based on them. That will be your base. And coming back to the frame, yes, use the frame, see how they do it. Now you have AI, you can use AI to dissect somebody else's work and make it as your own. Because let's say you make content, you want to synthesize information, not copy it, that's plagiarism, and you want to put your own print on that. You want to make something that's uniquely yours with somebody else's idea. To give you an example, what works well on Twitter when you write a tweet is lists or steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You know, that's a frame. Or a novel or a story, let's say, has an intro, has the main plot, you know, or the way a script is written. You have the problem, you have the tension, and you have the resolution at the end of the movie. Everything is built on that. This structure is proven to work. Everything needs to end with a conclusion. In music and art, with everything, there is a main frame in everything, and you want to follow that. You gotta find it, especially when you do creative work. Point number 5, pick a vehicle that's really suitable to you. All men and women want to express themselves, but the way they grew, the environment, the fear of criticism, fear of death, fear of public speaking, fear of being rejected, and so on, has put like a lid on top of them. They became too self-conscious, too self-aware in the present. Oh my God, what are they gonna think about me if I do this, if I do that, you know? And all those eyes on me. But people are just curious naturally to see what kind of dynamic happens there in your life. Who are you to record yourself in public, let's say? Who are you to make a video? And they would want to know, you know? That's all it is. I swear, it's curiosity. Nobody will ever want to put you down. No, it's just in your mind, your perception. And to flip this game a bit around, look at yourself. When you've seen somebody do something in public, like recording themselves or making a TikTok short or something, did you laugh about them? Or you simply understood what happens? Because I guarantee, if you have in heart something similar, you would have understood what happens. But if you laughed, maybe that was your mind, you know, reflecting supremacy to mask your stupidity and your lack of courage. Think about that. No offense. I want you to be open-minded and prove me if I'm wrong in comments. But anyway, people who laugh about other people lack spine, lack strength, they lack power, they lack personal projection, personal state, they lack creativity, and they just laugh and they have nothing to their name. And we're not comparing here or just showing you that you, by accepting failure and trying to do something, that immediately puts you in a different position with regards to that individual. There will always be a way for you to cheat your way through life, but I highly suggest you develop your own originality, your own authenticity by practicing point number 1, studying other people's works, and improving unconsciously by listening to other, like be a sponge of information and try to practice at the same time what you see, what you learn, what you notice. And obviously, we're gonna jump on the next point. I just came with it in my mind, observe more, so you can see how that's done. Next point, observe more. This is your best pillar, this and the first one. If you pair studying other people's work, listening to audiobooks with observing from, listen, here's how you have to observe. When you consume content, look at the structure, not just other content. See how that video was shot. Imagine where the camera was placed. Imagine what was behind and in front of the camera. Imagine where the lights are. Don't just listen to the guy speaking or shooting the cinematic B-roll. Try to understand the process behind it. It's just like when you edit a video and you have a phrase saying something like, and the pyramids were taller than the sky, let's say. Now you have 2 options when you're editing the video, and this is where you step in the mind of the editor. The editor sees the pyramid in his mind, assuming they're working on a script they need to produce a video for. And they also have in mind the sky, so they need to search 2 pictures, or just one, the pyramid and the sky, or just make it and give that prompt to AI to make it. But there is a few nuances here. How does that picture matches with the rest of the video? Because let's say if you create a movie, you need to keep the same color grading or the same palette. For instance, you make a black and white movie. You want to keep the same black and white tonality throughout the movie. So you gotta have context in mind. Every time you watch, every time you listen to content, analyze it. See the way it was engineered for you, the end listener, so you can become better at making it. If you're a music producer, when you listen to music, see why they chose in the first place those things. Of course, those choices were unconsciously done, but you will want to understand why stuff works in your own way, and that will enable you unconscious creativity, something you want. Just like your heart beats, you will be unconsciously creative. You will come up with those ideas you're listening to, or you read about, or you watch on YouTube. So that's why it's good to be like a sponge and reverse engineer information. This is the art of true observation. Okay, if you want to work with me, the link is down in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.